To each member of this party, our deputy leader, Mr. Chris Mortimer and your family, Andrew Wilson and your family, our brave and courageous constituency nominees, each and every volunteer and supporter of this incredible party, we would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for accepting the challenges and individual responsibilities which come with representing our people. Continue to hold fast to your integrity as we work together and strive to build a better nation. Remain focused and encouraged through celebration and adversity. You will be offered advice that the path to change is this way, or the path to change is this way. But be reminded that there is a difference between he who knows the path and he who walks the path. 25 years ago, I followed my heart and my passion to invest in our children. I watched with regret as conventional policies and practices failed to meet the social, emotional, and educational needs of our nation's children. I identified the urgent need for individually tailored educational solutions. I see very clearly the potential marine biologists, the dancers, the economists, the singers, the teachers, and the entrepreneurs in the eyes of those that are seemingly lost in our country. You only need spend time in a meaningful conversation with our youth, and you will quickly understand that the difference between success and failure in most instances very simply is opportunity and exposure to an education that is relevant, that is inclusive, and that is global. I share a common passion and a sense of responsibility with my husband to the education of every single child. We are both firm believers in our primary role as parents, community leaders, and Bahamians to work towards the fulfillment of the prophecy that we should not only live life, but we should live life abundantly. But to quicken the pace of social progress and individual prosperity in our country, it is necessary to transform the way we educate our children from ordinary to extraordinary. We cannot continue to ignore the current trend of our educational system, which perpetually falls short of the mark of excellence. Promoting education by rote and the national practice of social promotion are two reasons why so many of our children have missed the boat. The big boat, with the really big ideas, the big dreams, the big goals, all because we have allowed our young and beautiful minds to grow small. I've heard it said that while students may be 20% of our population, they are 100% of our future. They need an investment. This, ladies and gentlemen, is far bigger than politics. It is bigger than any political movement. It requires collective national attention and responsibility. We must come to understand that the lack of opportunities and exposure for our children perpetuates stereotypical allegiances to underperformance. I want my children and your children to have the requisite skill set and training to thrive so that they can, at an early age, identify and fuel their passion and in turn contribute to building this amazing country before it is all lost. It is my hope that our students can open their eyes, minds, and hearts to the limitless possibilities of the political, social, and economic future of this great land that we call home. It is understandable as parents, as Bahamians, to have high expectations of the people who set and prioritize our nation's agenda. So, it is time. It is time that we demand aggressive solutions to the socioeconomic and societal difficulties that we face. It is in our collective best interest to take bold and decisive steps to address the educational deficit in our country that for generations has stunned our progress and undermined our national unity. But it must engage change, and not just for the sake of change, but for a fundamental break from the failures and the shortcomings of our past. Our challenge is to transform adversity into opportunity, to renew the promises upon which this nation was founded: freedom, equality, unity, and individual and collective progress. In the history of nations, each generation is summoned to define its purpose and its character. The past is the past. We can neither change it or erase it. Now, it is our time to state clearly and unequivocally who we are and what we want. We are a new generation, and we endorse a new way of addressing our children's needs. In this moment, at this time, we have the opportunity to wake up, take up, and shake up our country in ways that will change the trajectory and place us on a path to real success. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the significance of the power of now. I believe that we can create a culture where the supply of opportunities and exposure available to our children through traditional and non-traditional learning will spark an explosion of innovation and creativity. Can you imagine the development that will ensue? As a nation, we're not seeing the kinds of returns from our children that their potential holds, simply because the startup capital was and continues to be too low. Yet, still, we fail to plan, and I believe that we plan to fail. Rather than profit from young, developing minds, we seem determined to ignore and deprive them of the proverbial nourishment needed to help them grow. And so, our sad commentary is that we continue to move back while our region and the rest of the world moves forward. Ladies and gentlemen, I am unrepentantly biased towards our children. Your children are the subject of my life's work and passion. It is what I do. It is what I know. And I also know that education should empower and not discourage. It should motivate rather than alienate. It should galvanize and not disenfranchise. I know that if children are healthy and are educated, free from violence, and are taught that they are highly valued, they build communities, and in turn, nations strive and do well. If you are able to relate to what I'm saying, if you feel that you've not been inspired, please know that there are exceptional things happening on this planet, even as I speak. Every single day, ordinary people are standing up, following their passion, and finding that they can do the impossible. Yes, the impossible. Louis Brandeis once said, "Most of the things worth doing in the world were declared impossible before they were done." So, I will tell you now, if you do not already know, inside of your soul are infinitely precious things that can never be taken away from you. The DNA will ensure that education is brought back to the forefront. And I will continue to do my part to see our children in this great nation of ours soar. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, family, you are here because you want something that is positive and different. I excel in the fields of business and education because my approach is different. They laughed and chastised my husband and the DNA because we were different. But now, we take pride in the advantage that we all have because they are all the same. Thank you so much.
One.